Okay, I debated about making this video or not. I kind of hemmed and hawed, went back and forth. Um, but I think we really need to have a discussion about what is responsible true crime coverage. So, when you're putting out videos and you're covering real life, covering real cases, what is responsible coverage? And I know people have freedom of speech, and I know people will say, but I'm just speculating. But there's a difference between speculation and flat out accusations and then doing things that can cause harm to other people. But not only that, but not doing the research, not even taking 5 minutes to correctly make sure you have the right person that you're even talking about. So we can discuss this a little further after I kind of go through some of this video, but I'm going to show you some of what Bubbly Waters' most recent video had in it. And right off the bat, she gets you with this title. Was Hudson Lindau's best friend Kai found guilty of classroom shenanigans again? Question mark.
Kai Johnson's. Now, Kai Johnson was allegedly Hudson's best friend.
Well, I'm glad she said allegedly this time, because a lot of times she doesn't say that. She just flats out said, yes, they were best friends. But the Kai Johnson that she is typing in there I'm looking for was not Hudson Lindo's best friend. In fact, his best friend Kai was not even named Kai Johnson. This is from his Instagram, and I have blocked out his last name so that you can't see it, because I don't believe in showing people's full names like that.
But what we have here is, which is really interesting because they have all different dates on these birthdays, on these people, I mean, and they're all, except for one. One's Kai Tillman. But I'm trying to think. I think he had a name change. Yeah, guardianship, conservative, minor, same part. Yeah. So, but they're all different birth dates. 2005, 2002, 2003. I thought that was very strange. So, Kai would have been, I would think he would have been more like a 2003, or 2002. I don't know. It's really weird because it's just weird. His middle initial is A, so there's two of them that aren't under the A part right there, you know? So let me look here real quick.
Okay, for anyone that doesn't know what that is that she's searching in, it's the website where you look up Idaho court cases. And if you're not familiar with Bubbly, what she does is literally sits all day on the internet running these kids' names through different programs, looking for anything she can find on the people she believes are friends of the Idaho Four. So in this case, Hudson Lindau, that had passed away in a drowning accident, she's looking up who she believes is his best friend on the court system. And she doesn't even know the correct person, but then she's also thinking that all of those listings might be this person anyways. She's not even sure what the correct birth date is, what the middle initial is, but that's not stopping her from showing these people's court cases.
I'm going to put it back on the other one because I can't read it like this. It's bad. It's bad. Take that off. So, okay. Should I turn it the other way? Oh, gosh. No. 2005. How does that work out? I'm so terrible at math when it comes to this kind of stuff. Well, he'd been 19. So that may be right. Okay, so this is one of them here. Okay, so Kai is the guy in Sigma Chi who was allegedly good friends with both Hudson Lindau, who's the one that passed away, um, face down in Paradise Creek. Uh, they found him the morning after. I mean, they'd been partying over at the King House. There's pictures of him with Xana, and I think I'm not sure who the other person is on the other side, but one of them Xana, I believe. And the house is behind him, like you can see it set back behind him. And it was only this. It was the same year. It was early. The dates on his are so weird, like they pop back and forth. So I'm not even going to say what it is. I know it was earlier in the beginning of the year. So I'm thinking it was like March or May. So anyway, Hudson was said to be best friends with this guy, Kai Johnson. Kai is, I think, part Japanese, part of white dude. So I'm not sure which one's mom or dad's, which other nationality, but he does know Japanese, and he was teaching Hudson how to speak Japanese.
Okay, most of what she said is incorrect. Hudson, yes, did pass away. He did drown. He was found in Paradise Creek. We don't know if the picture that was taken of him with King Road in the background was from the night that he passed. He was at a party. He was returning to his dorm. He was drunk. He unfortunately fell, hit his head, and drowned. But yes, there's a picture of him in the yard of another house near 1122 King Road. So you can see 1122 in the background. Now, he was not best friends with Kai Johnson. I already showed you the Kai that he was best friends with. Also, Kai Johnson is not Japanese. He may know Japanese. I don't know. I can't say for sure whether he knows Japanese or not to speak it. But he's not Japanese. Neither of his parents are Japanese. And he definitely was not teaching Hudson Lindau Japanese. Hudson was learning Korean. And we know this from his obituary, which also mentions his best friend, Kai. So this is from Hudson's obituary. He always enjoyed spending time with his best friend and roommate, Kai, who taught him Korean life through his country's language and cuisine while preparing to visit Korea together. Notice that the best friend's name is spelled K-Y-E, not K-A-I. The K-Y-E Kai is the one I showed you the Instagram of.
And from what I gathered, Ethan was good friends with them as well. And they all pledged, they all, bid at the same time, or rushed, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not good at those terminology things. Oh, I had the hiccups too. Bummer.
No, not exactly. Kai Johnson and Ethan pledged together. They were both in Sigma Chi. Hudson Lindau was not in a fraternity. And he was an acquaintance of Ethan's, but not a good friend of Ethan's. But he was familiar with all of the victims because, U of I is not that large of a college. Most of these kids knew each other. But he was not in a fraternity, and he was not in Sigma Chi with Ethan or Kai.
But this was filed on 9/20/21. That's not the date that it happened. The date that it happened is, now I have to turn it sideways for this one, which sucks. But yeah, I also will be able to read this too. So this happened on 9/1/2021. Now look what it says. School harassment, intimidation. It's bullying violations, found guilty. School harassment, intimidation, or bullying violations. This makes me think of hazing.
Okay, I'm going to stop this again. She picked the Kai Johnson that was listed as a birth date of 2005. So that would make that person 16 in 2021. So she's thinking it's the Kai Johnson that was the Sigma Chi at U of I.
He was in the fall pledge class of 2021.
So that would make him around 18, not 16. Also, if this were a hazing charge, it wouldn't be in Franklin County, but yet this case is in Franklin County. Franklin County south near Pocatello, southern Idaho. And that's not even the county that Kai Johnson is from, like the Kai Johnson that is a Sigma Chi. But if it was hazing at U of I, it would be in Latah County. So she doesn't even have the right person. First of all, it's not even Hudson Lindau's best friend. Secondly, she didn't even pick the correct Kai Johnson if she's trying to find Kai Johnson. And yet she's trying to make a connection now to hazing. It's completely irresponsible.
This was in 2021. 9/1 of 2021. 9/1 is when the noise complaint was in for Kaylee. When Rose, 9/1, no, that was August. So that was the one with Xana. Yeah. So when no one was there. So that was, because it was August 16th was one of them. And the other one was September 1st. So it was the same. Look at this. It's the same exact day.
No, it's not the same exact day. The noise complaint video at 1122 King Road was from 9/1/2022, not 2021. So now she moves on to Hudson and finds that he had some charges that he took a plea deal on. So, of course, if you listen to her or Jay Embry a lot, you know that they misinterpret plea deals all the time. So, let's listen further.
Because if that's what I think it means, then could it be that he took a plea agreement and like maybe who sold him the weed or where he got the weed or whatever? And could that be why he ended up face down in a creek? Because snitches get stitches?
So, Hudson Lindau wasn't murdered. No one did retaliation against him. He unfortunately had a tragic accident, was intoxicated, was walking home alone, slipped, hit his head, drowned in the creek. Has a really steep bank on it. I've seen it in person. There was no foul play. And I just would love to know what she thinks she's accomplishing by day after day looking up these young people and posting their photos and posting their social media and looking to see if they have court cases and records. And like, she has files on all of the victims, on all of their friends, on anyone she thinks is a suspect. You want to talk creepy? That is creepy. And she'll make inappropriate comments about some of the photos. She'll make weird comments about the parents of these people. It's absolutely inappropriate. And these friends of the victims has faced enough harassment. And not just the friends of the victims, the families of the victims as well, and the families of their friends. And she could be causing real harm because somebody could think that one of these kids was involved somehow in the murders and decide to enact vigilante revenge. And it's not just her. It's also Jay Embry with this whole Aryan Nation, Aryan Brotherhood angle that he's on now. He accused Quinn's father of being Aryan Brotherhood. His dad is not. Okay. But what happens when you accuse people of things like that is there are actual websites that will post people's photos and say, go punch a Nazi. Yes, I agree, Nazis should be punched. But the thing is, you want to make sure that you know that person really is a neo Nazi and not just a false accusation. So, what happens if somebody really believes you and thinks he's an Aryan nation and goes and harms him? Also, Kara Kernodle. She's not a confidential informant. She's serving a long prison term now in the Idaho State Pen, but you're out there saying that she's an informant and turned on Jesse James Bailey. What happens if somebody truly believes that and tries to enact revenge on her? You've put them in harm's way. You've put her in harm's way. You've put Maddie's stepmom in harm's way. It's just a good thing nothing's happened so far, that nobody's believed your lies and tried to take out revenge on these people for something they didn't do. There's a responsible way to cover true crime, and that is to cover it based on the facts, based on reality. And you can speculate. No one says you can't speculate, but speculate based on the facts. An example of speculating based on facts and trying to fill in blanks would be reading the probable cause affidavit and then trying to determine, based on things we've seen, where we believe Ethan was in Xana's room, for example. Or was Kaylee in her own bedroom and then went into Maddie's later? That is speculation. But taking things out of the blue that there's no facts at all about, and then saying, I think it was this, this, and this, and I believe so and so is the murderer, that's not speculation. You're going straight from speculation into head-on conspiracy and accusations. And that is not responsible. And that could get somebody hurt. What we all really need to be doing right now, if we really want justice for these victims, is to do better with our content. All of us. Think of their families, think of their friends before posting content. Think truly about what you're putting out there. If you were a victim's parent, if you were a friend of a victim, if you were one of the surviving roommates, would you want to hear these things being said about you and accusations being made about you? So we all need to stop and think about them first, and the victims especially. We need to do better.